Hi everyone, my name is Marcus Augustesen and I'm an equity analyst at Carlsquare. Today we will host an interview with Dag, the CEO of Zinzino. Welcome, Dag.
Thank you, thank you.
How are you today?
I'm pretty good.
And
Pretty good.
congratulations to a great year, 2023. From your perspective as a CEO, just ignore the figures, they were great. But from your perspective, what was the highlight of 2023?
Oh, that's a good one. I would say that we've done lots of different upgrades that maybe not come to the surface, but we've done a lot of underlying things that has been really promoting the business as a part of the growth. We also set the foundation for two new markets like Turkey and Mexico. We've done some investigations and some studies on the product side that will be launched this year, and we did some really upgrade on the tech side that is also supporting the business. But most of all, it's like growing the business, expanding the business is always the kind of the major highlight, I would say. So profit and profitable growth is maybe the biggest highlight.
Yeah, as a financial analyst, I agree that the numbers were great for 2023. But looking into 2024, what are you expecting to be the main drivers of growth, of revenue growth?
It's probably going to be a little bit more the same that we have done. So Europe is our fortress, I would say. So that is where we have the base of the customers and the distributors. And then we are slowly expanding a little bit to the Latin American market. We are looking at acquisitions, both on the product side, but maybe ingredient side, and maybe on the distribution side. So that could expand the business. We created a partnership here in Europe with a former ACN, which is a competitor, so to speak. So they invited us in and we invited them in. So we created a partnership that is also spinning off some good revenue all across the world and the globe. And there is tons of opportunities that we just need to prioritize the right one.
Yeah, all right, I get it. But if we talk a little bit more about the ACN collaboration, what more specifically does it mean? I mean, you take over their network of distributors, and how many distributors do they have? I mean, compared to your current network and so on, what can we expect from it? I mean,
well, it's a little bit too early to say, even for me, with the insight that I have. It was around 3,300 partners that was invited in, and every one of them is kind of invited to work and join forces together with us. Not everyone will join forces with us, but it seems to me that I believe it's going to be around 1,000 within the next 2 to 3 months that will be joining us and partner up with us. And what that will be of customers, like if you take a normal ratio, might end up being 15, 20,000 new customers. But it's more like the length in 2025, 2026 that I see the real kind of outcome of this. This year, yes, but it's a long-term partnership, I would say. And then in addition to that, we invited them, as you know, in a press release to buy some shares so we could partner up. And then I'm not sure what the future holds, but there are still kind of new things that we could collaborate on.
all right, so there's new things. So it's not just like they are going to start to sell your current products within the food supplements and the skincare segment, or there's
I
actually
might
new?
be need to phrase myself a little bit carefully here. No, our products is going to be the ones that they're selling.
Yeah.
So that's going to be clear. It's just that it might not even be just Europe. It might be Asia. It might be Latin America. It might be spin-offs in US. So I think that this is just a start. but I can't tell you like in numbers more than what I gave you, how much this will impact the numbers for this year. But I'm hoping for 1,000 new partners, maybe 20,000 new customers. And if you compare that to the database that we have around 21,000 distributors all across the globe. More and less active, but and we have a good customer ratio average on these partners. So I think we are in a good position to grow the business, like I said in the report as well.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. And regarding the gross margins, they have been up quite substantially in 2023, and that is partially due to price hikes, but also changes in the compensation model for the distributors, if I understood that correctly from the report. Can you elaborate a little bit more on how much did the price hike contribute, and how much did the change in the compensation model contribute?
Yeah, it's a little bit. I understand the question, but when we get like new customers, they didn't get any price increase from where they started as well. But so if you divide it maybe in three, you have price increase maybe is on 6 to 7, 8%. Then it was in average 5. But how the impact is a little bit hard to quantify. If you look at the scale of the business, that was probably around 10. Because when we are growing and hold back some of the costs, that gives us like a much higher profit. If you look at the compensation plan, well, that is a little bit of a function of how we're selling in which market we're selling. So it's a little bit more complicated to just define that. So in Europe in general, do we have a model that is easier to scale and earn money from? So when the market is mature, like 10 of the markets in Europe, we earn a little bit more money on that. So that is kind of our fortress. But without spending money and investing in new markets, we can't say that Zinzino is going to be a future. Oh, in that way, we can say that Zinzino is a future kind of solid business and a good place to put your money to be a shareholder in 2030. So, yeah, I think you can divide them in 3: scale, price increase, and the last one that I mentioned, I almost forgot, the compensation plan.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. And I also noticed in the report that you did a one-off write-off for the Enhance product, or the Enhance assets. That's quite interesting, even though this is very, very small part of your business, but it still says a little bit about the demand and so on. I mean, why did you do the write-off? I saw that sales decreased quite substantially for skincare. But is it because you're losing distributors, or is it because the demand for these sort of products is lower during these times, or?
I know I wish I could have a logical answer to this, but I'm going to try it out, and then then we can have a different discussion on that. So the rules of IFRS, the financial rules for being on they are a little bit like unlogical sometimes, because when we acquired Enhance, we kind of needed to predict what would that acquisition cost us.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that, and you understand that?
Yes.
So we kind of say, okay, we believe this is going to cost us around 3.5 million euros. When that deal is doing better than what we expected, and they get a higher earnout because they are performing better, then we need to adjust that acquisition to maybe 4.5.
Okay.
So then you do a write-off, which is in the old way of looking at financials, a little bit crazy. But this is actually a positive thing,
Yeah.
believe it or
Okay.
not.
Yeah. So the thing is that you haven't really changed the underlying model on how to value this asset. It's just that the share that you as a shareholder in Zinzino gets is less than you anticipated from the very start due to higher
Now
earnouts.
we actually get more.
Yeah.
So we need to adjust that, but it's very technically.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit strange, a little bit crazy, how to speak. But Enhance, the skincare that we got from Enhance doesn't really kind of impact the sales of that acquisition. I mean, we were inquiring them for a different reason. That was for distribution power.
Yeah.
And we've gotten that, and they are really paying back the acquisition, and the merger went, I would say, brilliant, so to speak.
Great. And if we look at the SEK, the Swedish krona, it has strengthened somewhat
Yeah.
against the euro, for example. And can you elaborate a little bit on how a strengthened SEK affects your P&L or your income statement?
Well, has it really been strengthened during the 2023?
At least towards the second half of 2023, I would say that
Yeah.
the SEK has
So
strengthened.
I would say that one of the other impacts that I forgot to talk about was actually the currency, because the currency was also impacting the growth figures a little bit, and also in my world, euros is probably the most sold currency in Zinzino. So when we are comparing a year to a year in SEK, it has a big impact what kind of currency we are selling the products in and how strong they are. A little bit strangely enough said, a weak SEK will have impact in a higher growth for Zinzino.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a good SEK is good for the economy and for the employees and everyone that receives their salary and they want to go outside the country on a vacation. So the major thing that we do is that we are basically a little bit independent, not totally, but a little bit independent, because we are paying suppliers, we are paying consultants, we're paying our distributors in the same currency as we get in. So we have lots of US dollars that we pay suppliers that requires US dollars, and we pay SEK to those who need SEK, and Norwegian kroner and Danish kroner and those. So the real impact is not as much as you will think of. But if you look at the growth numbers, some of the growth that we had last year was an impact of a weaker SEK. So if you look at euros to euros, the growth was a little bit less.
All right.
Technically, again, but I know that you are following me.
Yeah, no, I think the answer was very good and clear. And I want to finalize this video by asking you, what are you the most excited about in 2024? What's the main event you think? What are you most excited about?
Only one?
Only one.
Could I?
You can choose how many you want.
We're gonna launch a new test during this year. So we're very test-based nutrition. We have the largest database on fatty acids in the world. So one thing that we've been working on for almost 5 years now is to develop a test which will be a game changer, I would say, in preventative health. So that is something that we are launching a little bit later this year. That's going to be very cool. I believe we are aiming to maybe we can do some acquisition. So I'm excited about getting involved in these kind of talks. I am excited about a product and a couple of new markets. And Honestly, I'm really looking forward to the day-to-day operations. I like every aspect of growing the business and turning this company and improving the company every day. So it's a lot of things that I'm really excited about. But of course, growth and profitable growth is going to be the most important thing for this year as well as last year.
I look very much forward to following you or covering you during 2024. And thank you very much, Dag, for this time. See you
Thank
around.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.